Uh, Welcome everyone to the latest in Bitcoin Tech session. uh, this week we'll go over a couple of news items from newsletter 359 of Bitcoin Optech. Uh, so we'll just cover two items. One is on a proposal to privatize Bitcoin Core, and the other one is sort of a, a basic overview about BitVM, and there have been some improvements in BitVM. So we'll get an overview of it. It's not like a deep dive into BitVM, but a larger bird's eye view of BitVM. So yeah, let's cover our first item, which is privatizing Bitcoin Core. So it might sound a little alarming, but yeah, there have been a lot of problems with respect to development on Bitcoin Core. So primarily, the developers face uh, three kinds of problems as they work on Bitcoin Core. First thing is that their time and attention is sort of fragmented because of the nature of the public nature of the development process. Then there is this problem of brigading attacks. We'll have a look at what it is. We'll try to understand what it is and how it is orchestrated. Then there is this problem of coercive public pressures. So it's basically because of the public nature of the development process. The developers' attention and time is largely distracted or wasted due to interruptions from various kinds of people. Some may or the interruptions may or may not be genuine. There may be may or may not be technical expertise to it. So this has been the case for a long time, and and there has been instances of developers getting frustrated over this, and this has also led to a lot of time delays, and the conversation goes deep into non-technical stuffs, goes into philosophical stuffs, and finally there is no valid or surefire way to resolve these differences. So that is one problem. The second problem is brigading attacks. So there is so we might think that all these things happen in some random fashion, or some we always assume some sort of a genuinity to comments, discussions, and altercations with respect to what changes to make, what changes not to make, kind of stuff. But over the years, there have been organized efforts. There have been observed instances of organized efforts to flood the development forum. Generally, there have been attempts to flood the development process with off-topic contents. You quickly see the commentary going into hostile territory, which is of no constructive use. Then there have also been coordinated pressure campaigns. So how does these sort of brigading attacks specifically target the GitHub repo? Whenever there is a pull request for a contentious issue, people get into the GitHub PR and start commenting stuffs. It might or might not have technical relevance, and there seems to be some organized effort to flood it with non-technical, contentious arguments. There are also people who get into the developer mailing list and start replying to proposals or PRs without any intent of providing any constructive feedbacks or development process. There are also issues where code reviews have been attacked or spammed by non-serious or non-serious entities. So these kinds of processes are clubbed together as brigading attacks. Then there have been coercive public pressure campaigns. These public pressure campaigns arise from different parties. Uh, um, there might be one specific group that want a specific change or feature implemented, and they seem to organize public pressure campaigns. Um, these things, these campaigns usually don't stay within the technical merit of the discussions. It generally evolves into off topics. Then they are generally adversarial in nature, and they sort of force developers to address particular problem or feature or change that these pressure campaigns want to be seen on core. So this is a general overlay of the problem that Bitcoin Core development, not just Bitcoin Core, but any development process on any fast development process on Bitcoin itself faces. Core sees the brunt of it because it is the most so far it has been the most valuable fast project in human history. Trillions of dollars of value rides on it. There no so far no other open source project has attracted such a level of nation state oppositions. There are also a lot of non-state actors interested in or diverting this whole open source project for their own ends. So no other open source project has ever faced such pressures. And also most of the pressure campaigns are well funded. And they are not some ideological pressure campaigns. They are well funded with clear intent behind them. Then there are also sophisticated social engineering attacks that happen. So at times, devs are being painted as proponents of certain ideology, even though there is no clear evidence for it. Then there is misinformation efforts. There are a lot of we might have come across a lot of misinformation campaigns about devs saying that they are associated with such and such person, such and such ideology. They said this on Twitter. They said this on the mailing list, kind of stuff. And there are also efforts to technically sabotage it, and these sabotage efforts are generally disguised as legitimate technical contributions. So these are all the like a general overview, a qualitative description of the problem that Bitcoin Core in particular is facing. This is in part due to GitHub's own deficiency. Historically, Bitcoin Core has been developed using the GitHub platform. GitHub is sort of doesn't seem to have the tools necessary to handle all these problems that Bitcoin seems to be attracting. So it's easy for anyone to get into the repo, access the peer reviews and the peer reviews and start commenting on the code. Not necessarily contribute towards the development, but sort of start a conversation, non-technical conversation within a technical context. There are no effective there are filtering mechanisms, but there are no effective filtering mechanisms that can handle this level of pressure and sophisticated attacks. Then there is also a lack of tools for managing these kinds of coordinated attacks. So the whole development platform seems to have a lot of deficiencies, although it's there are discussions and debates going on around it, but clearly we could use more advanced tools within the GitHub's interface. So the first consequence of all these kinds of brigading attacks, coercive public pressures, and distracting the developers' time is that the most productive developers seem to disengage or drop off from the development process itself. So, um, so this developer disengagement is a huge problem, and the partly because of all these kinds of attacks, and also partly because of Bitcoin Core's conservative nature itself. People don't have any problem with the conservative nature of Bitcoin because it's a feature and not a bug. But to an extent, these kinds of attacks, such as brigading attacks, developer time and attention draining, all these things sort of dissuade developers from continuously contributing towards Bitcoin. So what happens is that you stop getting good quality PRs. The developers development cycle grinds to a halt. Primarily, the largest problem that Bitcoin Core is currently facing is lack of quality code reviews. So there is a serious paucity in code reviews because good developers are not interested in the process because of all these problems. And this also puts up a barrier for newcomers. Core, being an open source project, has to have a good flow of newcomers and who are willing to step in, take up the development process, learn from the elders or seniors, and then continue the process. But with these kinds of problems around core, it sort of seems to dissuade newcomers. So this is a huge problem. um, so what this proposal that has been put forth in the mailing list says is that we have to look at we have to think about or start debating about a process which can help address these issues that we discussed above. So this proposal has come up with a four step or four themed process where we use each one of them to slowly or gradually streamline the system so that these kinds of problems can be addressed. So the solution aims at primarily at refining the interpretation or what open source principles mean. The proposal is basically around separating code's accessibility, um, and separating code's accessibility, the development process's openness, and community participation. So right now, all these things are completely open. Anyone can access code. Anyone can open a PR, and anyone can start commenting on a PR. And also, the development process is open, where the pros and cons of each and every PR is discussed in public, even from the very beginning stage. And uh, community participation, it is difficult to streamline the community participation because of the noise that is happening in the space. There has to be some way to extract signal from the community participation. So this is what the solution is geared towards or structured towards. So basically, it proposes that we start with a private collaboration platform. This can be there are no concrete uh, proposals in the discussion. It's just a sketch of ideas. To begin with, we need to develop a private collaboration platform, typically in the form of a members only GitLab. Inside this platform, the issues and PRs are typically not exposed to public to begin with. Then whoever is in the inside the platform, the moderation is also should be much more improved. There should be more granular access and control over the moderation process. Then there should be a whole set of communication tools for real-time developer collaboration. So it's kind of a reimagined company kind of setup where everything happens inside the platform, and they and like this is one part of the solution. Then, if at all we were to close it down, then it becomes it doesn't remain as an open source project. In order to address that, the proposal says that that we have to sort of develop a structured access control and a membership process. Here, this access control and membership process controls or rationalizes who or how one can get or into the private collaboration platform and contribute inside that. So typically, it suggests that we should bring up an registration or application process, and also have a probationary period with some sort of an automated activity monitoring for the probationer. Then also layer in some social proof mechanisms. Let's say at least two members of the community should recommend a developer to get into the private collaboration platform. And also the developers who wish to contribute must show proof of work to begin with, typically in the form of commits in the public repo or elsewhere. Then there should also be a strict or effective appeals and review process for membership decisions, so that these membership decisions don't become a bone of contention, or don't become or get hijacked by somebody else. Then also we'll have to put in some moderation norms with very clear guidelines. Conflict resolution mechanisms should also be there inside this system for interpersonal disputes. So this is sort of like the layer two. Layer one is private collaboration platform. On top of it goes the layer two. Then comes the third layer, where we try to integrate the public and private part of it, and also try to manage the transparency of the whole thing. Uh, the challenge is to maintain transparency and public accessibility to the whole development process, while also ensuring that you have a private development workspace where there are not any there are no issues, or where there is a mitigation of all the issues that we saw earlier, such as barricading attacks, developer time being distracted and stuffs. So how to do this? The proposal says that um, you have to have a private development process, which we saw in the previous two steps. Then you synchronize this private development process with the public phase through some sort of an automated process. Typically, it says that there should typically be an automated GitHub mirroring system, where whatever gets merged or worked on in the private space is mirrored into the GitHub space, into the public GitHub space, and we should also put up some cryptographic verification process to ensure authenticity and accountability of the public who interact with this system. Typically, these interfaces would be read only, and there will also be audit trails of the private development process that is put up for public scrutiny. So these are all some of the rough sketches of ideas as to how to engineer this, how to strike a balance between private development and the need for public oversight over Bitcoin's development process. And finally, the proposal also talks about a rollout or implementation strategy. The proposal acknowledges that Bitcoin being a very critical network, these things cannot be implemented in some sort of a haphazard or ad hoc fashion. Um, so there has to be some parallel layers of execution or working. Um, typically, it says that you have to develop a parallel system where the existing GitHub style development continues uninterrupted during the initial transition or implementation phase. Parallelly, we'll have to engineer this three systems or three themes that we talked about. One is a private collaboration platform with a lot of features. Then we'll have to put structured access control and membership on top of it. Then we'll have to engineer a channel or engineer a channel or pipeline which moves the private development into the public domain in an effective fashion. We have to develop these three things parallelly, and to begin with, once the private system is ready, we probably will have to invite the developers to voluntarily work on both. Typically, they'll have to work on the public GitHub version and also on the new system for some time. There possibly cannot be any forced migration, and no, it can only be done by willing adopters of the system, uh, and there should be effective flow of information from the public system to the from the private system to the initial public to the public system. Basically, the implementation strategy that is being proposed is obviously a conservative one, where we cannot force developers into either of the systems. We have to develop the private system and hope there is sufficient adoption to it. So basically, this is about the proposal, and it has received some comments from existing developers within the developers mailing list. Primarily, Antoine Poisson has raised some questions about it. He has sort of questioned the assumption that if you shift Bitcoin fast development into a private development process, what like can we quantitatively be sure that it will eliminate these but the brigading attack kind of attacks. So he has questioned that is it possible? Is it does it actually work? Um, Second thing is that there is also questions about um, why would a developer uh, prefer private development. A developer would prefer private development as for natural reasons rather than for fear of public disruption. So developers generally huddle together in a private discussion for efficiency and natural advantage purposes. rather than for fear of public scrutiny or public disruptions. So, if that is the most dominating or most prevalent reason for people to develop in private, particularly in Bitcoin, then how can this new system help? So that is another question that he has raised. And most active developers in Bitcoin Core itself, they have erred on the side of conservatism, and they have commented that uh, there is right now there is no need for a major change or radical shift. We can right now start to work on better moderation policies and better filtering mechanism. So they think that if we, as a first step, at least we should try these things out before thinking about anything radical. So and also most of the discussion or and comments agree that Bitcoin Core has a centralization problem. Core has seemed to have become centralized because most of the commits, most of the PRs, most of the upgrades all come from Core. The general agreement is that Bitcoin is decentralized, but Bitcoin Core is definitely not decentralized. And also, people keep repeating or underscoring the perception that somehow Bitcoin Core GitHub repository controls Bitcoin. So this idea has sort of been re-emphasized over the years repeatedly. Right now, it seems that it has come back again, and there is a need to sort of show or establish or somehow disseminate the idea that Bitcoin Core is not equal to Bitcoin. So, these are all the comments that have come across, that have been put across for the proposal. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say about this particular issue. I'll wait for any questions and comments.
I think just as the user of Bitcoin, I could, I'm of course concerned, and I think I can just ask a question at this stage. And my primary question is twofold. One is that what is GitLab? Is it solving the deficiencies of GitHub? And second is I know that there is some approach of I might be missing the technical detail, but some approach of uh, differentiating the components with libbitcoin kernel. Yeah, if you could touch upon that, Bala, that would be helpful. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, basically GitHub is controlled by Microsoft. So that is a big issue. GitLab is a platform similar to GitHub. You can self-host it, and it is a huge boost towards decentralization. Right now, GitHub, like Bitcoin Core on GitHub, is at the mercy of Microsoft. So yeah, that is one issue. And the second thing is, yeah, there are efforts underway to separate consensus code out of the Bitcoin core. So once that is the idea is to modularize it. The idea is to separate the consensus code from core itself. So anyone with the consensus code can modify all other infrastructures around the consensus code. So once this is successfully modularized, you can probably have different flavors of nodes popping up. So yeah, that is what that's what the development is. There is a team in core that is actively working on that part.
What does it mean that the core has become centralized and that Bitcoin is decentralized, but the core is not?
Yeah,
And like, what about the perception that core's GitHub repository is like somehow controls Bitcoin?
The idea that core is centralized comes from the fact that uh, only the course maintainers have the ability to approve or merge PRs and then push releases. So that is the process now. So this is similar or akin to how a centralized or for-profit software works. So this perception is being called as core is centralized. And with respect to the other question, sorry, I forgot what you asked. The second question was.
That the code's GitHub repo somehow controls Bitcoin.
Yeah. Now the public perception is that it is very hard for you to find people who understand or appreciate the fact that uh, consensus rules are separate from the infrastructure around it. So uh, if you are up for it, you can always uh, create a node for yourself, and you can effectively or successfully interact with the network. So that idea seems to have been lost. The right now the prevalent idea or understanding is that Bitcoin is equal to Bitcoin Core. So if you run Bitcoin Core, that is being equated to running Bitcoin protocol itself. Right now, after this operator debate and constant back and forth, people have sort of woken up to this fallacy, and they are like running Bitcoin knots. So at a surface level, it sort of tries to underscore the fact that Bitcoin protocol is not equal to Bitcoin core software itself. Yeah, coding
Yeah,
P.
thanks for
Also,
highlighting.
yeah. Okay. Uh, so if there are no more questions, I'll move on to the next item. So yeah, next we'll have a look at BitVM. So this is up because in the latest in the Optech newsletter number 359, the BitVM team has reported that they have sort of improved their protocol, and they have moved on to the third version of BitVM. So right now we are in BitVM V3, and this has drastically improved or reduced the size of transactions that are required on chain in order to realize the BitVM system. It is a very BitVM itself is a vast area, and understanding it probably requires us to do sort of special sessions only on BitVM. Hopefully, we'll try to do that someday. Uh, right now, we'll basically have a look at what BitVM is, and at a very top level or surface level, look at how it works. I'm also very new to this, and I can't go too much into the technical details. So I'll try to communicate to you whatever I understand. Uh, and hopefully in the coming sessions we can try to understand it a bit more. So basically BitVM is a paradigm or protocol, however you may wish to call it, which can using which you can express Turing complete contracts on Bitcoin without requiring any changes to the existing protocol. So um, to clarify, we'll have a look at what Turing completeness means. Uh, a system or a programming language or basically any system, it can be a programming language or it can be a programming language, can be called as a Turing complete system if it can execute a series of computational steps in a particular order. Then it should have conditionals, basically if else statements. Then it should be able to iterate or repeat the computational process over and over. And it should also have some means to store the intermediate data for use by the code itself. So that is what is called as a Turing system, Turing complete system. Bitcoin is not a Turing complete system. It cannot iterate. It cannot store data for later use in memory, because the protocol itself doesn't have any uh, memory. It has conditionals and it can execute a sequence of steps, but it cannot iterate and it cannot store data. That it is Turing incomplete, and it has been so for specific reasons. Satoshi did not want it to be Turing complete very particularly because he wanted the system to be decentralized, and the Turing complete systems always tend towards centralization. Classic example is Ethereum. There are no you cannot, any common man cannot run a full verification node in Ethereum. You can only always run I don't know what it's called. It's probably called a sequencer or something in ETH. So you need a data center to run a full verification node. So this is a consequence of Turing completeness. So we don't have Turing completeness in Bitcoin script. The script can execute only a limited sequence of steps, and it can probably do conditionals, but it cannot iterate and it cannot store data. so, uh, uh, so, so, but this Turing incompleteness gives Bitcoin its strength, which is decentralization and a very secure network that has not been hacked so far. Uh, but this also limits Bitcoin in terms of its application. So right now you can do only vanilla transactions. Probably the most complex stuff that we have been able to realize or realize using the scripting system is HTLCs in Lightning Network. um, Although there are other esoteric stuffs, they are not very common or they are not considered standard. So this Turing incompleteness sort of stunts the network from realizing complex stuffs. So people have tried to implement complex contracts, computational mechanism, etc. In Bitcoin over the years. There have been many attempts to bring Turing completeness to Bitcoin, but typically they stop or end when at a place where in order to realize these kinds of changes, they have to sort of bring in a new opcode, or they have to bring in a new opcode or some changes to consensus. So whenever a proposal sort of hits this stage, it doesn't move forward. So because it is very hard to change Bitcoin. Most of these proposals have found or met dead ends, and it is very difficult to bring in a rough consensus about these kinds of changes. BitVM is different because Robin Linus in 2023 sort of found a workaround to this. So his protocol doesn't require any changes to the consensus code. It doesn't require an introduction of a new opcode. It just uses whatever is there in the Bitcoin network. In the Bitcoin network. So the gist of how this BitVM protocol operates is that um, you do a bunch of computations off chain, and you push the results of the computation on chain. So there is an assumption between the prover and the verifier about the honesty of the prover. But if at all there is any doubt about the prover's computation, the verifier can always use whatever is there on chain to verify if the prover has remained honest or not. So that's the overall overall description of the BitVM protocol. Uh, so the whole idea is that rather than executing all the computations necessary for realizing something complex on chain itself, in BitVM, these computations are performed off chain, and only the proof or verification part of it is done using the Bitcoin's main chain. Um, so yeah, it's a little complex and tough to wrap your heads around. So I'll try my best to explain it. So basically, you have a prover and a verifier. They do all they have to interact among themselves off chain in a phase called as the setup phase. They collaborate off chain and compile whatever they want to verify into binary circuits. So if they have a complex logic which they want to which includes Turing completeness, which has loops and stuff inside them, they as the first step convert it into a binary logic. So these things all happen off chain, and taproot address. So each and every logic gate in the whole logic becomes a leaf in the tap script, and then it's all packaged together into a taproot address. So then the prover commits this entire circuit within the taproot address, and creates a transaction and mines the transaction. Now this whole logic is a part of the blockchain. So these are all called fraud proofs. And whenever a verifier wants to check or verify if the prover is right, he can challenge the prover's commitments, and then verify whether the prover is true or not. So this is basically how at a top level this BitVM protocol works. uh, so typically you convert your logic into your code into logic gates. Then you generate commitments for them, and then you create scripts with hash locks that are encoded into tap scripts, or encoded into leaves of a taproot. So whenever a dispute arises, you have an interactive challenge response game where the verifier can force the prover to reveal specific components in the system, and he can, like the verifier, can satisfy himself via the replies from the prover as to the correctness of it. So this is a basic or a top level overview of the protocol. It is tough to understand it. I'll try to explain it in much more detail in future sessions. So why is there is interest in BitVM, and what are all the applications that BitVM can bring in? Primarily, BitVMs can be used to realize trust minimized bridges. So what are bridges? Uh, the bridges have been attempted or tried or have been attempted as a layer 2 solution on Bitcoin for a long time, since its very beginning. It typically has a peg in and peg out transaction. Um, right now you can realize bridges only as a federation. So for example, liquid is a layer 2 solution which has a bridge. So you deposit your BTC into a multi-signature contract, and on the other end or on the other side you get liquid BTC. This multi-sig contract is controlled by a federation, and if at all the federation is satisfied, they can or they will let you peg out of the system. So once you peg in, you get equal number of coins on the other chain, which is liquid. Fedi is also something similar. It uses lightning. Liquid has its own chain. So yeah, these are all bridges, layer 2 which has a bridge to them. So this is right now only possible using multi-sig contracts. And multisigs are typically federal in nature, and it has an element of trust involved. So you have to trust that the federation members will let you peg in and also will let you peg out whenever you want. So you have to trust right now. But with BitVM, you can realize trust minimized bridges. So the BitVM instances can be configured so that there is no trust involved, and you can process, or the system can process pegins and pegouts in a sovereign fashion. So that is one application. Then you have zero knowledge rollups. You might know what zero knowledges are. Zero knowledge proofs are in Bitcoin. So zero knowledge proofs are basically an attempt to show that you know something without revealing the without revealing the something that you know. So you try to prove that I know a secret without actually revealing the secret. And the verifier can or can be satisfied in a fair way that you know the secret. So that is zero knowledge proofs in a very brief or a nutshell level. So you can realize zero knowledge rollups on Bitcoin using BitVM. So where is this useful? This is very useful in batching transactions. So you can compress thousands of transactions into a single Bitcoin transaction using zero knowledge rollups, and you can engineer or realize complex state transitions using zero knowledge rollups. And you can also realize optimistic rollups. This is similar to zero knowledge. It is typically useful when where you can process transactions off chain and come to the chain only for minimal level of debt, minimal level of settlement. So this BitVM can help in realizing optimistic rollups. So these are all conceptual ideas that you can realize using BitVM. As far as practical applications, you can use these zero knowledge rollup and optimistic rollups to engineer lending protocols. You can collateralize. You can realize collateralized lending with programmable liquidations, and you can build complex derivatives and financial instruments with Bitcoin's backing using BitVM. So these are all the applications. The news item is that typically in order to realize this fraud, this transaction that is being put into the bytes or kbs of data, and over the evolution of the protocol, it has been reduced. So now 1 kb. So in order to the amount of the size of the transaction, like it has come down from close to 5 kb. That's what the paper claims. Or Robin Linus claims. So this realized using different different technological advancements inside the protocol itself. So now, as the technology matures, we are getting closer and closer to having something practical, and once it becomes practical, we can use the protocol to construct top level stuff like lending protocol, realizing complex derivatives, etc. on Bitcoin itself. So yeah, that concludes my discussion about BitVM. Yeah, Anuba has asked a question: who is the verifier? Um, anyone can be a verifier. Generally, for example, if in this application, for example, if you are in a collateralized lending protocol, the if you are lending someone, you like the receiver of the protocol, or even the community as a whole can look into your protocol and verify that there is sufficient liquidity in the lending protocol, that is there is enough proof of reserves to back your lending, kind of stuff. So that is a form of verification. In derivatives, etc., you can imagine verification happening at multiple levels. You can verify whether the whether the derivative was executed at the right price or right volume, whatever it might be. So the verification can happen at multiple levels. In this example, for example, if you take up batching of transaction, as you will have to verify whether your transaction was batched into that particular batch and mined. So in that case, you become the verifier. Yeah. Any more questions?
Bala, Vaishak here. Is there like a strong need for this sort of service from a lot of institutions right now?
Yeah, BitVM, since the very beginning of Bitcoin protocol, there have been attempts to engineer one system or the other where you have much more expressivity with respect to the scripting system. So that need has been a constant. So people are waiting for something solid, practical, workable, that doesn't compromise the Bitcoin's core nature, so that they can use it to build complex stuff on Bitcoin. So whenever this happens, whenever you are able to realize a protocol on top of Bitcoin, which opens up the script languages expressibility, the need or requirement for all other coins sort of collapses, and all those resources find its way back to Bitcoin. Yeah, there is always this need. It's except that we don't have the technical capability right now, and we are slowly trying to get there.
Okay, interesting. Okay, do you happen to know any name of some institute who is like constantly as like a
Yeah, BitVM is backing it.
yeah, not backing it, who might be like the first adopters in a way?
Um, yeah, right now I'm not sure of any particular institution, but the first thing, if BitVM becomes very practical, the first thing that will happen is that you will have another layer 2. So there won't be just Lightning. you will typically have another layer 2, which uses these trust minimized bridges. So the need for a federated multisig to peg in and peg out of Bitcoin will be eliminated, and people can trustlessly peg in and peg out of Bitcoin. So first thing that will happen is you'll have another layer 2. Then probably all other things will
Sorry to interrupt, Bala.
take.
You mean the lightning part of it might not be required at all? This might serve as an
No,
alternative. Is that what you
no,
just said?
it's not. It's not like it will dismiss the requirement of lightning, but it will give rise to another layer 2 on Bitcoin. So lightning will be there, and probably there will also be
Okay.
another sidechain on Bitcoin.
Okay, it'll be like a
We
parallel
never know.
to.
Yeah, we never know which will gain adoption. We never know which will succeed in the long run, which will hold more liquidity. We never know.
Hmm, 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 hmm. Right. This is pretty interesting. Like Lightning and other things are all pure play payment systems as such.
Yeah.
This you can sort of come up with like you said complex financial
Yes. Yes.
modeling, lending framework, all
Yeah.
sorts of things. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, once it makes Turing complete, you can design whatever financial things or
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that. Okay,
Right.
interesting. I think things, but maybe some institutes that are right now offering mortgages or some sort of
Yeah.
financial.
These collateralizations will become more on chain, and it will become formal. So you will not have to depend upon third parties and stuff, and
Mhm.
you can easily like put bitcoins into a collateral and assign conditions as to when it has to be released and stuff. So you don't have to have a law, or you don't have to believe a third party for such contracts.
Mhm. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Is
look.
this is practically okay? Just one last.
Yeah.
This practically possible, right? Or is it still in
Yeah.
exploration phase?
No, it's there has been quite some development in it. So the development work started in the idea was floated in 2023, and in the past 2 years, the developers and the team have quite advanced it. The only problem that was in the first the main at least the main problem is that when you make these proofs and push them on chain, they sort of seem to occupy a lot of sole proof into 2 or 3 transactions, and you have to package them in such a way that they go to the same miner and they get mined in the same block or something like that. So that was one of the major problems, and now the team is sort of working on reducing the size of the transactions required in order to push the proofs on chain. So
Okay.
once they are able to reduce it to a very minimal or reasonable sizes, then it becomes very practical.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Uh,
Thanks, Pala.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Alok asks, what will BitVM save? Space or fees in the Bitcoin network? Uh, right now, it is definitely not going to save you any space or fees, because BitVM itself is very space consuming on the network. But once you are able to realize optimistic rollups and zero knowledge rollups, there are proposals that can use these rollups to batch transactions. So yeah, probably batch thousands of transactions into one zero knowledge proof, and then publish that proof in one transaction in on chain. And you can like the spenders or verifiers can use this one single proof to as a proof that their transaction is on chain, so they don't have to uh, push individual transactions on chain. So yeah, and this is also will contribute towards rationalizing the UTXO size. So when you start realizing BitVM in an effective fashion, and you are able to realize rollups in an effective fashion, you can start to like rationalize the UTXO size, or you can rationalize the bloat in the UTXO set. BitVM, even though it is called as BitVM, if you look into it, Anubhav, this is for you. BitVM is essentially zero knowledge. So the mechanism or the nuts and bolts of BitVM it relies on Stark proofs, like SNARK proof, SNARK. So it is essentially zero knowledge. Yeah, there are some big groups opposed to BitVM because they think that BitVM will bring shitcoinery into Bitcoin. So they don't want all sorts of financial engineering stuff on Bitcoin. um, so they don't want they don't want complex contracts on Bitcoin. They don't want different L2s on Bitcoin. So yeah, they want to keep. They are the ossifying or ossify Bitcoin club. They belong to the ossify Bitcoin club. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Okay, we are past 9. If there are no questions, we can end the session.